to join in conversation once again here this year. And I also wanted to thank bitterlemons.com for hosting the panel as well, for bringing it together. We are going to go ahead and I'm going to introduce all of our guests here. Thank you all for coming. But first of all, just want everyone to know that we are live streaming this. So if you're on your smartphone and you want to join in the conversation, you can text me up here at the front, and I will get your questions. If you're on the internet and you want to ask questions, you can send them to 323-253-3887. And that is Colin Mitchell's phone number, not my own. You're not going to be texting me later. So that's 323-253-3887. And of course you can, I'm sorry? 3887. And of course you can also be joining us on Twitter with the hashtags HFF11 and LATHTR. So that's all that. Let's go ahead and introduce our illustrious panel here, starting with Stephen Leigh Morris. Stephen Leigh Morris is a published and produced playwright, journalist, and currently the principal theater critic for the LA Weekly, where he has been writing since 1988. His commentary also appeared in the New York Times, the LA Times, American Theater Magazine, Backstage, St. Petersburg Journal in Russia, the Drama Magazine in London. Last year, he served on the jury of the Pulitzer Prize for Drama. Morris teaches playwriting, criticism, and world theater at California State University, Domingo Hills in San Bernardino. Thank you, Stephen, for joining us. Next to Stephen is Bob Verini. While in college, Bob Verini began reviewing theater and film for Albany, New York's major newspapers, but left journalism to act and direct professionally, earning an MFA in stage directing from Indiana University. For the past 11 years, he has been a senior writer for Script Magazine and has covered LA theater for Variety since 2006. A member of SAG, Equity, and the American Theater Critics Association, he serves as president of the LA Drama Critics Circle and co-produced its 2011 awards show. Charlotte Stoudt is a her theater criticism has appeared in Village Voice, Theater Forum, Variety, and the LA Times. Play development includes premieres by Lisa Crone, Danny Hawk, Lynn Nottage, and Warren Late at Baltimore Center Stage, as well as new work at the Ojai Playwrights Festival. She recently premiered her cabaret about European emigres and wartime Los Angeles at the Atlas Theater in Washington, D.C. Congratulations. Tony Frankel is the LA, San Francisco, and Las Vegas reviewer and correspondent for stage and cinema. Tony has been involved with theater for 40 years. As in order, an actor, director, piano player, music director, producer, casting director, and teacher. He is also an advocate for public speaking, having founded the West Hollywood Toastmasters, and for our national parks, having fully experienced 307 of them. Welcome, Tony. Next, John Shirley was the primary theater reporter and the secondary theater reviewer for many years at the LA Times, then the theater critic of LA City Beat. Now he's the LA Stage Watch columnist and the copy editor of LAStageTimes.com, the online magazine of the LA Stage Alliance. Welcome, Don. In Los Angeles, Trevor Thomas wrote first for Dramalog and ended up at the LA Times. In New York, he produced theater off-Broadway and ended up on the breadlines. To save himself, he went to work on Wall Street. Now back in LA, he is theater critic for Edge magazine, resolved never again to produce plays, trade bonds, or eat stale bread. Very clever, thank you. Harvey Perr writes theater reviews for stage and cinema. He has been active in the theater in one capacity or another for more than a half-century. Welcome, Harvey. And Rebecca Haithcoat is the acting music editor of and theater critic for LA Weekly. She recently earned her MA in Specialized Journalism, the Arts, at USC Annenberg School for Journalism. Rebecca has been an NEA Fellow twice, and her work has appeared in NME and LA Record. Welcome, Rebecca. And finally, Colin Mitchell has been involved in theater as a professional for 20+ years, working as an actor on Broadway, regionally, and in LA for the last 15 years. He's an award-winning playwright, and his plays have been produced in New York, Seattle, San Francisco, and LA. Currently, he is editor-in-chief for the LA-based website Bitter Lemons, and that is bitterlemons.com, bitter-lemons.com. In case you're curious who I am, my name is Primeau. I'm a columnist for Bitter Lemons. I write The Advocate, which is researching and the methodologies and celebrating the accomplishments of theater artists doing social justice and outreach work here in LA. So if you have any leads for me, please let me know after the show. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much. One more round of applause. Let's give that energy up. Now, since this is such a big panel and we live in the Twitter age, I'm going to ask everyone to please be brief with your statements if you can. And hopefully we'll be able to have time for a question and answer with our audience both here and on the internet later on in the conversation. So thank you for your consideration.
They just turned it on. We have air conditioning on, but of course, because we are constantly in landlord land, we're still trying to figure out how to capitalize or advertise the cost of air conditioning. So it's the best that we can do at the moment. Welcome.
Take off your clothes. Oh yeah, everybody. Thank you for having us. All right. Now, we all have different reasons for why we showed up or organized this panel here today. But I think many of our audience would like to know, out of the many invitations that you, as critics and reviewers, receive to see theater, what are some characteristics that actually draw you to go and see a show? I could limit it to a few characteristics. Harvey, would you like to start?
What draws me to a show? It's true, I get a lot of requests and you can't possibly see everything. If it says such and such the musical, my tendency is to just forget that. I try and stay clear of one-person shows, and I really felt that the Hollywood Fringe Festival this year had far too many of them. Maybe they were all brilliant, but that was a turnoff for me. I go back to the theaters where I've had good experiences again and again. I go back to some theaters where I haven't had good experiences, but it seems to me if I don't go there, I'm not going to see that particular play. I'm always just looking for what I imagine would be quality, which I know is a hard thing to do. But I'm also always interested in discovering something that no one seems to know about. And for that, I have someone I go to, a writer for the LA Weekly named Bill Reagan, who alerts me to interesting things. It's really important to me that he does that. Mm-hmm. For example, I discovered Zombie Joe. Now, I know Zombie Joe has probably been around, and maybe you all know him, but if you don't, this is a guy in our town who's doing amazing work, and it should be seen.
Is it a solo show?
It is not a solo show. He does, for want of a better word, he's into Grand Guignol. He does 4 shows or 5 shows in the course of a week, but only one performance of each one. There's a Friday at 8 o'clock, a Saturday at 8 o'clock, a Saturday at 11, a Friday at 11, and maybe a Sunday at 3. And maybe that's why no one's really talking about him. But he recently got reviewed in the LA Times for his Hamlet, Prince of Darkness, which I think helped put him on the map, for which I'm personally grateful. I think it's always nice to see someone you respect suddenly start getting attention. And he does have an audience, so maybe he doesn't need one, but one always needs an audience. So I said, that's it. No so-and-so the musical, no solo shows.
Yeah.
And I kind of like to follow the work of certain directors I've come across, and certain writers and certain actors that, you know, after 2 years you begin to see the same people over again, and the ones you admire and respect, you want to see their work again.
Great. Anyone else have any other thoughts about why you don't go, but why you do go? What gravitates you towards particular shows?
I actually like shows that have the musical at the end of the title. But I agree with Harvey about one-man shows. They can be, if they sort of exude an air of kind of like self-indulgence that the actor or the playwright is performing